Welcome back, everyone, as we approach 1:30 here on this wonderful Seafair Sunday. Steve Rabel, Chip Hanauer, a cast of thousands. We don't know who they are, but we'll be asking shortly. Out at the start-finish line is Mike Fitzsimmons and Pat O'Day. And while
that's not Mike Fitzsimmons, is it?
I don't think either one,
Okay.
not Mike or Pat, as a matter of fact. I know them both. That doesn't look like any of them.
Just want to clear it up.
Yes, the noise you hear in the background are the Unlimited Lights. They're getting ready to go back in the water for what they call the B main race. And so those gentlemen are climbing aboard, getting strapped in. But before we go back to live racing, we want to show you how we got to this point. Yesterday's Unlimited Light action. And with that, here's Mike Fitzsimmons.
George Woods nailed the start in the UL 72 Graham Trucking and held off Jerry Hopp in the more powerful Mike's Hard Lemonade through the first corner as the Unlimited Lights Heat 1A got underway on Lake Washington. Here they come through that first turn, lots of traffic, and there is George Woods, and inside of him to your right you will see the Mike's Hard Lemonade. That's all the move George had to put on him. He was able to put Jerry Hopp away and win Heat 1A. Second place boat was the Mike's Hard Lemonade and Jerry Hopp. Now let's go down to the stage for the presentation of the trophy by Baker Equipment.
Hi, I'm John Lynch, voice of the Unlimited Lights, and here to present the award for first place in Heat 1A, Bob Baker from Baker Equipment Company.
Congratulations, George, on your win in Heat 1A. On behalf of Baker Equipment, we present you this trophy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. The Graham Trucking SRP special out there, the Little Red Rocket, is proud to be here in Seattle, and we hope to do well all the rest of the weekend. Thank you very much.
They come to the line in Unlimited Light Heat 1B. Vince, the X-Man Zadaro on the inside and in command already of this heat as he brings his red, black, and white hydroplane down into the first corner in a commanding lead right off the top. He gets through the lower corner with no problem at all. Very aggressive driver with unlimited credentials as well. Look at him pin this buoy as he comes around the corner. Zadaro in the UL 929 is your overall winner. Some distance back and unable to make a race of it was Ted's Red Apple Market, which was driven by Olympia's Rick Bridgman. Rick just simply couldn't do it, and the checkered flag went to Zadaro wire to wire. Harold Mills was third overall. There you see Bridgman's boat. Down to the stage now. Let's join John Lynch for the trophy presentation by Graham Trucking.
The winner of Heat 1B is Vince Zadaro, and here to make the presentation, Rob Graham, the owner of Graham Trucking.
Thanks, John. I'm Rob Graham. On behalf of Graham Trucking, I'd like to congratulate Vince Zadaro. Great job.
Thanks, Rob, and thank you very much for your support of boat racing, hydroplane racing, and Seafair. Thanks my sponsors, Baker Equipment, New Vine Aerospace, and Western Cascade Petroleum. Thanks, Seafair, for putting on a great event, and thanks to UL HRA.
They come to the line in Heat 2A, and on the inside, right against the buoy row, it's that yellow boat. Jerry Hopp in the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Right beside him, hopping through that tough first corner, is Vince the X-Man Zadaro. Jerry Hopp establishes a lead coming out of the corner. Zadaro keeps the throttle down, however, comes out of the corner tight and tries to reel him in down the back chute. Jerry Hopp with superior horsepower maintains the lead. This is why this is the boat to beat on Lake Washington. But look at Zadaro in the center as he keeps the power going and tries somehow or other to close the gap on Jerry Hopp. The outside is the rookie Terry Benyon, who stayed with him that far as well. Through the corner, there's Jerry, and there is Zadaro. Good battle through that turn. But on the front straightaway, it was all Jerry Hopp in the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Zadaro finally decided to let him have it. He finished second place overall. The winner, Jerry Hopp and the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Now down to the stage for the trophy presentation by Sickle Steel Crane.
Hi, I'm Greg McKay, and on behalf of Sickle Steel Cranes, I'd like to congratulate Jerry Hopp and Mike's Hard Lemonade team for the Unlimited Lights Heat 2A win today here at Seafair.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Sickle Steel for the trophy, and Mike's Hard Lemonade for sponsoring our boat, and all our hard work hardworking crew that made this possible. You go, Seafair. All right.
Heat 2B was the story of the master and the new kid on the block. They put on something of a clinic as George Woods, the master, the crafty veteran, paced 24-year-old Michael Flaherty for all 3 laps, allowing the rookie to stay with him, as you can see here, side by side, racing up the back chute and into the upper turn. Again, passing some traffic there are the two, the master and the kid, side by side down the front straightaway. Again, it was that way for 3 laps. And finally, the master, George Wood, in the Red Rocket, the Graham Trucking, after a gorgeous corner in the lower turn, decided he would allow Flaherty to stay with him for 1 more straightaway. And as they came down to the start and finish line, George Wood said, "So long, pal. I'm going to edge ahead right at the line, but you had yourself a good competitive experience this afternoon." George Woods wins it in the Graham Trucking. And now we go down to the award stage for the Graham Trucking presentation.
I'm John Lynch, voice of the Unlimited Lights, and Heat 2B. George Woods is the victor with the presentation. Here's Rob Graham.
Hi, I'm Rob Graham, presenting for Graham Trucking. It's great that we get to present the trophy to our own boat. It doesn't get much better than that. Congratulations, George.
Thank you, Ron. It is a pleasure to take this trophy to 2B and also have your sponsorship all year long. We've done well with it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No, George, thank you. One of the really nice guys in boat racing, George Woods, be it Unlimiteds, as he won here at Seafair a few years back in the Tide boat, and now in the Lights, the Unlimited Lights. And our guard Swanson has been prowling the pits where those Unlimited Lights are located. It's always fun down there, Guard.
Well, the clock is ticking right now. This is Paul Becker. And Paul, how much time do you have before you fire up the engine?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me? How much time before you fire up the engine?
Okay, try it again.
How much time before you fire up the engine?
We've got about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
And this is kind of a nice racing team you have here. It's a family affair, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The boys are all seniors at Newport High School. We came out to all learn together, and it's about fun, friends, and family, keeping the shiny side up.
Well, go out and have fun. You got about 1 minute, 8 seconds.
I got to roll.
Hey, can I give you one of these before you go? All right, go get him, partner. Rapes.
All right, Guard. Yeah, I guess he must have had the radio turned up in there a little bit, listening to some, so maybe the easy listening music station, who knows. But there are all the light boats on the trailers, a lot of them in the water now, ready to go for the B main race, which will be coming up in just a couple of minutes. We have the voice of the Unlimited Lights joining us. Stand by. More racing to come here on the shores of Lake Washington.
You're watching the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, brought to you by your Northwest Chevy dealers. Visit us online or see your Northwest Chevy dealer today.
Well, before we get out to the water and watch these very loud Unlimited Lights, let's go down, perhaps, if anyone in the world can hear me, let's go down and get the awards presentation taken care of for the Unlimited Heat 2A, which was run just a few minutes ago.
Welcome back to the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair Award stage. We're ready to present our award for Heat 2A, and it's presented by 76 Retailers. Here's Steve Hushabeck from 76.
Hi again, my name is Steve, and on behalf of the 76 retailers in the Puget Sound area, I'd like to congratulate J. Michael Kelly and the Miss Graham Trucking team for winning Unlimited Heat 2A. Congratulations and good luck with the rest of the race. Thank you. Terrific.
A big hand for J. Michael Kelly.
Just like to thank my sponsors, Seattle Boat Presents Graham Trucking, my crew, 76, and the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. So this is awesome. Thanks.
And spoken like a true 25-year-old. We'll be back and go racing the Unlimited Lights right after this.
The Unlimited Lights Provisional Heat is presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Let us take a load off.
Well, Well, one person's provisional is another person's B main, and that's what we're running. Same race, and here are your boats. The UL-14, the Mist Software prototype, the Thunder Valley Racing, BCS Racing, Jackie's Purple Thunder, Escapius Maximus. Wow. And Baker Equipment Company. Those are your light, unlimited light boats as they are down in the south turn now, heading around. They will also be scoring up. You know Mike Fitzsimmons and you know Chip Hanauer. They've been calling our races all day. Let's welcome in now the voice of the unlimited lights, and that's John Lynch. John?
Thank you, Steve. And we have just had the 1 minute gun, so the boats are scoring up now on the back stretch. And in the B main format, 3 of these teams will advance to the final heat. First and second will start on the front line of a 7-boat front line final for the unlimited lights in about 3 hours. And the third place boat will be a trailer starting 1 rooster tail behind in the lane they choose. By the way, that front 7 will fight for lane. You have taking the inside position, that's Kerry Bainan out of Belfair. He is in the BCS racing team. Then next to him you have Paul Becker, the airline pilot, out in the middle of the course. You have Kevin Aylesworth. He's going to go outside. That's Kevin right there in the UL5 Baker Equipment Company. Harold Mills in the Thunder Valley Racing entry. That's the UL40 right in the middle of the course. That's the one with the low green tails and the white decking. As they come around, they're going to be, looks like Kevin Aylesworth maybe just a wee bit early, but he's outside, so he's pushed out a bit. They're all coming down slowly. They know this is so much having to do with getting into the final, and here they go. Let's see if it's a legal start. I believe they were all on time, and you have 3 wide going down the front straightaway. Kerry Bainan, then Harold Mills, and Kevin Aylesworth on the outside into turn number 1.
And you said number 1 and number 2 are going to be on the front start of the main, so that's the race we're looking for.
Absolutely, and it is Kerry Bainan. This is his first race after being a qualified driver a month ago in Issaquah, and that BCS racing team, this is the same boat that Dave Bender almost won here at Seafair 1 year ago. Got a little bit high going down the backstretch, but it's Kerry Bainan right there. Next to him, that is Harold Mills, and on the outside, it is Kevin Aylesworth. 1, 2, 3. If they stay this way, Kerry Bainan and Harold Mills would be on the front line, and Kevin Aylesworth would be the trailer. 1 rooster tail back for the Unlimited Lights final.
Now, these guys seem to be handling this rough water pretty well. Now, we know these boats are smaller and lighter, but yet they seem to be standing on the gas pretty hard here.
As you know, in this particular case, they're getting over the rough conditions instead of falling down into it. And that's what they've been able to find through testing. And right now, Kerry Bainan, BCS Racing with a strong lead, but Harold Mills moving up quickly in the Thunder Valley Racing team. That's the UL40, a team out of Issaquah, and their shop in Auburn. And then Kevin Aylesworth, our San Diego entrant in the Baker Equipment Company, he is in 3rd. Paul Becker is in 4th place, and then back to 5th with Joe Turner and Ron Dumont in 6th.
And I believe Harold Mills is the first African-American to be competing here at Seafair in any class.
That is correct. He attempted to qualify, did not complete the qualifications for unlimited competition, but he joined the Unlimited Lights last September in San Diego, and here he is now moving in for a final heat position with the Thunder Valley Racing team. They're having their best season ever as this Thunder Valley group right now going in 2nd place. But look at Kevin Aylesworth in the bright orange Baker Equipment Company. He's moved to the inside lane to try to challenge Harold Mills for 2nd as Kerry Bainan continues to lead, and the white flag is up with 1 lap to go.
Now, the problem I see for Harold Mills here is he's got a weight to contend with, and Kevin Aylesworth can slide up inside of him. It looks like it's going to be really close for 2nd.
It's going to be. Harold is, of course, very experienced driver, as you know, a national champion in 2.5 modified hydro back in 2000. Kevin Aylesworth is in his 2nd full season of Unlimited Lights competition, but he made the move he needed to in that tandem wing Ron Jones design Unlimited Light. But right now it is Kerry Bainan looking like he's Dave Bender a year ago and leading the pack here in the B main, with Harold Mills still holding a rooster tail advantage over Kevin Aylesworth. That's Harold there in 2nd position. If he holds that position, he'll be a frontline starter in the Unlimited Lights final for Thunder Valley.
And I believe there's 2 kinds of engines out here. Some have blowers, which is like a dragster engine, and some have carburetors. What are we looking at in these first 3 boats?
Normally aspirated 509 in the lead boat, supercharged in the 2nd and 3rd positions, restricted supercharged engines. We'll explain that later on in the day. Kerry Bainan is going to take the B main victory in the BCS team. 2nd place, Thunder Valley Racing's Harold Mills, and Kevin Aylesworth will be in 3rd. That puts Kerry and Harold on the front line of a 7-boat front line for the Unlimited Lights final. Kevin Aylesworth will be the trailer, picking whichever lane he wants. 1 rooster tail length behind. But when you have to do that, Chip, in your experience, I imagine there's not much to choose from.
There's not much to choose from, but yet you can still win from back there. And we saw in the unlimited heat where a rookie, you know, let everybody else jump the gun and won the heat. So what do you think this means to Harold Mills to be the first African-American to compete and now to make the final here at Seafair? What do you think this means to Harold?
It means a lot to Harold, but it means a lot because he's a racer. You know, representing the African-American community is nice, but Harold has always wanted to be a racer first. But it has been so important to his community that he get the opportunity to compete here. Because we have been here since 1951. This is the first time an African-American has had the opportunity to compete here. So from that standpoint, he is very proud to be the first one to do so, and very, you know, he's very capable and talented to do that. But like yourself, he's a racer first.
Yeah, and knowing Harold like I do, the only thing I know Harold's thinking about is how do I get into that chicken coop in the final heat? You know, I mean, yeah, Harold has grown up racing in the area here, and he knows only one thing, and that's how to get out in front.
One of the boats that didn't get into the final, I was questioning because it was built, I believe, the year before you started racing Unlimiteds. I wonder if you ever raced against John Leach and the Buccaneers.
I did race against John Leach. Actually, we weren't in the same class.
Category,
in the 280 category.
Because this was our boat here, not this one that's on screen right now, but the one Paul Becker drove. It's actually built by Ron Jones 30 years ago and is still stepping up capably in Unlimited Lights competition.
John, actually, I have raced every boat since the Mayflower.
There you go.
I've pretty much raced every single boat that's floated since the Mayflower.
And it seems like with the record, Ron Jones might have been building boats then too, because his seemed to run forever.
Right. No, he did build the Mayflower.
Okay.
But I did not drive that particular boat.
In fact, Noah, you have a couple of aardvarks and 2 giraffes waiting just down below our tower here. Well, there you see the winner of this B main event. BCS Racing, and congratulations to them, to George Mills as well.
By the way, Steve, notice the deck. Very important signage there.
It says advertising available.
There you go.
Now, is that still available between now and the final?
I'm sure they could make a deal, yes.
Okay.
And they are in the final.
Well, let's remember that these are floating billboards in some ways, and very effective billboards for sponsors. And these light boats are just fun. I'm wondering, John, 7 boats across the front. I don't know. I don't care how you stack that up. That's a lot of hardware up there racing down to the start-finish line for the opening of the race.
Yes, it is, but that's been pretty much the norm on this race course here. It's a little bit wider. We've got a little bit more maneuvering room than we do elsewhere. And keep in mind that the Unlimited Lights are about 2 feet narrower than the Unlimited, so that's taking up a lot less space. And the idea here is to qualify as many teams as possible for a final, but the fans really enjoy the big, wide 7-boat start coming down at the start.
It's a lot of
Probably
noise,
more than, well, that's one thing that lights
noise.
people like, too. Matter of fact, George Woods, who put the engine, helped get the engine program together for one of our finalists, the UL 51, he likes the noise so much. You notice, like on Kevin Aylesworth's boat, the orange one, the stacks all go straight up. George Woods pointed him straight out, right at the fans.
So everybody can hear it. Let's go down to Gart Swanson in the pits with the winner today. Gart?
Kerry, it feels pretty good, doesn't it?
Feels real good. That's my first win in a UL. And I got really wet, but it wasn't from the outside. I got a lot of water when I took off, and it shook around, and I think every part of me is wet.
So you race your way into the finals. Does your boat have enough to take on the bigger boys?
I'd have to have the right position, and I broke a wing cable this morning, so my wing's fixed, and it just, where we mounted it, just it's pinning the boat down. But I was kind of worried about the wind up the backstretch, but it's doing pretty good.
Kind of like your chances right now, don't you? You're feeling good.
Feeling good right now. A couple hours, we'll see, but
all right.
I'm just happy we're making the final.
All right, nice job. Thank you.
BCS, by the way, stands for Bainan, Karstensen, and Sipola, 3 quality Northwest drivers. All 3 are going to be driving that boat. This weekend, it was Kerry's turn.
All right, John, thanks very much. You will be back for the final.
Looking forward to it.
All right, that's John Lynch, the voice of the Unlimited Lights. We'll be back with the final of that race a little bit later. Meantime, the air show is continuing over the lake, and in just a couple of minutes, the Red Baron Pizza Squadron will be flying in with their Stearman biplanes, always a favorite here. Don't go away. All right, welcome back. And take a look. One of our Unlimited Lights is making an extra wet re-entrance to the pits. I can't tell who that is, what boat that is, mainly because it's under about 2 feet of water as it's being towed back to the dock. Driver doesn't appear to be terribly happy about all that. But what you're looking at now is way above the water. Another year, we've got Mount Rainier. That's not going anywhere. A lovely day on the lake, but not for everybody. A little wetter than this limited light driver or unlimited light driver had hoped to be. Oh, my goodness. Not, and there's a different ride. I like that one a lot, and so do those pilots, and so do the fans. We've got much more ahead here. The Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. More boat racing. Stay with us.
Hi, Chris Alpine here with the Mike's Hard Lemonade Fan Cam. To get the true experience of the Seafair hydroplane races, I have just 2 words for you. Log boom. Log boom! These are the true fans of the Seattle Seafair hydroplane races. In fact, these people are so hardy, they don't even need the boats to race out here. Hardly the usual. Make it Mike's.
You're watching live coverage of the 2004 KeyBank Air Show at Seafair, brought to you by KeyBank, your neighborhood bank, and much more for over 50 years. KeyBank.
And a wonderful air show it has been. There's quite a little show going on in the water, too, and it is this case every year, except when the weather's a little bit chilly. But this has been terrific. The parties are going on along the shore. We've got grandstands that are pretty much filled here along the shores. Families come out, and I think, Chip, that's one of the great things about Seafair today is that now it's so much more a family opportunity to come out and see the boats and see the air show.
The other thing is the legacy I like to see is, you know, there's a guy maybe 85 years old, and he remembers the slow-mo, and his son is with him, and he remembers the Bardol, and then his son is with him, and he remembers the circus. So, you know, I think this is more than a sports event. I think this is part of the fabric of this community, and I think it's really important. It's kind of like, it's a neighborhood barbecue that we get together once every summer. I think it really plays an important role in this society here.
30 or 40 years ago, Mike Fitzsimmons, those kids would be towing those little wooden hydroplanes behind their bikes out on the street and the sidewalks, listening to the sounds of the hydroplanes coming from the lake. Now the big boats with mom and dad aboard cost a few more dollars than they did 35 or 40 years ago.
And looking at this crowd today, I thought last year might have been a little sparse, but when I look out today, this looks like as big a crowd as I've seen in a while, and I haven't heard any numbers yet, attendance numbers yet, but visually it looks like a huge crowd.
I think they might have been slowed a little bit down yesterday. It was still cloudy and a little cool yesterday morning, some drizzle when we first got here, and then of course Friday was just a complete washout, so today has been spectacular. Now as I look down in front of us here in the pits, it is the time for the presentation of the awards for the B main race, Unlimited Lights.
Hi, this is John Lynch, voice of the Unlimited. No, just kidding. It's Rob Graham. On behalf of Graham Trucking, I'd like to present the provisional heat to Carrie Bainan. Sorry, Carrie. Great job.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Graham Trucking and also our sponsors, JS Plastering, Gresham Pump and Well, and Sure Clean Car Wash. Thank you.
Well, we're ready to go racing again. Heat 3A in the unlimited class. The big boats, the turbines, and here we go. Who needs points as we come into this Heat 3A? Well, the Oberto is certainly one of them. How's the Beacon Plumbing boat doing? Well, they won Heat 1A. Steve Hook, he's a hero with his team. And how about Dr. Ken Muscatel? Not having a bad day for the world's fastest forensic psychologist. It's Heat 3A.
Heat 3A of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair is brought to you by the Washington Forest Protection Association and is presented for Seafair by the United States Coast Guard, the shield of freedom.
Well, here's your lineup for Heat 3A. The Skyway Park Bowl and Casino, Old Boy Oberto, Miss Beacon Plumbing, Silver Dollar Casino, Miss Rock, and the Lumar Window Film, the U8 boat. That's the lineup. We've got a little time now before the boats actually start racing, so we'll get to follow them as they score up and get set to go. In the meantime, we'll tell you about the drivers and the teams. We'll talk a little bit more about where they stand now in this third heat of racing, and we start with the Skyway Park Bowl. The U00 has not had a very good day either today or yesterday. Doug Brown, Chip.
No, Doug has not been racing on the circuit much, and he kind of is a regional guy. He comes in for Seafair, and that's about it. So I think they just want to survive and maybe luck into the final.
Guard, is that the idea down there in the pits? Just kind of hold everything together and make it into the final if they can?
Yeah, Steve, you're right on the money when you say hold it together. In the last heat, they blew a gearbox, which eventually blew the engine, but they weren't really uptight about that. This crew is so good and so precise. They got everything together, but they got late notice from Hydroprop. They are actually in 3A. They are uptight, and a couple of other boats down here are uptight, like the Beacon Plumbing boat. They got late notice as well to get their boats in the water. Everything's cool now, but I can tell you, the eyes of these drivers are a little bit serious going out in the water right now.
Well, and you start to get a little anxious as you get closer to race time. Here's a veteran, though. Got ice water in the veins is Steve David, the Old Boy Alberto boat. Mike?
Yeah, but Steve has not been doing all that well out here. Steve has had some difficulties. He's had some penalties, and he hasn't got any points. He needs to get some points now. This particular heat is not going to be an easy one to get him. Both Muscatel and the Lumar boat with J.W. Myers are running too well for it to be easy for him.
The U99 boat is the Beacon Plumbing boat. Steve Hook out of Pateros, Washington, and he's making his mark today, Chip.
Yeah, and Steve Hook has got a first and I believe a third or fourth, so he just needs to basically finish here. I think he's got his set on the final and really isn't worried too much about what happens here.
The U25 boat is up next. Dr. Ken Muscatel in the Silver Dollar Casino boat.
And he has been running very, very strong. I think Ken Muscatel has had a pretty good day out here, even though he did wind up hitting a buoy and have to be penalized for that. He has been running very, very aggressively today. As Chip said, perhaps as good as we've ever seen him race.
And Greg England, he's got a boat under him that he can push a little bit.
And I think he's starting to feel pretty good. He just radioed into his crew right here. He's talking about the weather. He's talking about how many people are out there watching. So Ken's comfortable and feeling confident.
Always nice. The guy behind the wheel is comfortable and confident, even though you're coming into a race. And finally, the last boat, the U8, the Lumar boat. And they've got some racing to do as well here today. They've got some catching up to do. It's been kind of a long time, but J.W. Myers is a good driver. And so we'll see how he is able to handle things. Bill Rocky is standing by with that. Bill?
Steve, J.W., he told me 3 or 4 times he felt so bad because the boat got wrecked over in the Tri-Cities, and his crew had to work nonstop the last 2 weeks to get this thing going. They're out there just like Steve David. They need points, and J.W., he's very inspired. He wants to win some of this for his crew.
Well, you want to win for your team, obviously. Pat O'Day, this is all about team, these guys out here in these boats.
Oh, isn't it? And J.W. Murphy and Steve David, history would show this season that they should put on quite a duel here. And in the meantime, the rookie, Steve Hook, and let's see if back-to-back our wonderful psychiatrist can have another great heat.
I think the race to watch is going to be between Alberto and the Lumar because these guys are both desperate for points. This might as well be a final for them. They got to win here.
That's exactly the scenario that I was thinking too, Chip. And as a matter of fact, both of those guys have keyed on each other during this score-up. J.W. won the score-up battle, if you will. He got the inside lane. Second lane, it's going to be the U6, the Old Boy Alberto. It appears that the Skyway Park with Doug Brow will be on the third lane slot. And bringing up the outside is going to be the rookie, Steve Hook, in the Beacon Plumbing. They are terribly early right now. They're going to have to back off here. We could have a jumping situation again. 2 seconds, 1 second. Looks like they'll be okay. Steve David got across the line. It's a good start, and he had the lead coming across the line. He timed it perfectly, but he was down on power, which means the other guys that were throttling up are going to be able to catch him.
But he's in a very good position right here out in front. But look at J.W. Myers on the inside. He's gonna equalize it by the time they come out of that corner.
And J.W. Myers is side by side now with the Old Boy Alberto. A great backstretch run now. J.W. getting a little loose flying that race boat. The water has calmed down down considerably over what it was earlier today. So we've got a pretty good track out there right now for some fast racing. And J.W. Myers on the inside, and the old codger, Steve David, and the old boy, Alberto, on the outside, the Madison boat from Madison, Indiana. Great corner by J.W. Myers. Beautiful turn. And he comes out of the corner out on top and stretches out his lead just a little bit now at the end of lap 1, the first of 4 times around. It is the Lumar and J.W. Myers, followed by the old boy Alberto, followed by the rookie Steve Hook of the Beacon Plumbing, and then Dr. Ken Muscatel.
J.W. Myers' Lumar boat must be going very, very well, because he had really fallen quite a bit back at the start. He was maybe 4 or 5 boat lengths behind at the entrance to the first pin, but when they came out of the first corner, he was dead even. So that boat's got some power.
And that might have been a radio conversation. Folks warning him, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump, because he looked like he was pretty anxious on the throttle himself for a moment there. All right, now the old boy Alberto trying to reel in the Lumar window films, and as you can see, Steve David has gone to the inside, but he has to go through a little slop right there in the right-hand corner of your screen, trying to get through the wake of the Lumar through that turn, and the Lumar has managed to gain even more real estate as a result. And the rookie is starting to work on the outside in third place, trying to reel in the old boy Alberto.
You know what Steve Hook has to do is just not damage anything, because he can just sit there and he'll be in the final, but he's probably doing some testing to see how well the boat handles, what changes he wants to make for the final, because I think Steve Hook thinks he can win this race, can win the final.
I think Steve Hook thinks he can win the battle between old boy Alberto and himself right now, because it looks like he has come to this race course to do a little bit of racing. Out front, it is the Lumar, as you can see, streaking down the back chute now. J.W. Myers pretty much by himself out front, 2 rooster tails ahead of the old boy Alberto, but it is in the race for second and third that we've got some action. There you see on the left of your screen, that is the rookie, that's Steve Hook in the plumbing boat. He is in the rooster tail. He is in the mirrors of the old boy Alberto. And in the meantime, even Doug Brow in the Skyway Park is pushing his way up on the inside of that boat. So we've got a good battle up there in the corner.
It's basically going to be if Steve David, can't catch J.W. Myers, and I can't imagine he can unless J.W. has a problem. I think that's the nail in the coffin. He's not going to be in the final.
3 laps are down. 1 more to go for J.W. 1 more to go for Stephen David. 1 more to go for Steve Hook. 1 more to go for Doug Brow. And now 1 more to go for Dr. Ken Muscatel. He has slipped into last place, and that's uncharacteristic. He has been running better so far today, but this is not where we've seen him run most of this Seafair Chevrolet Cup. Up the back chute now, it is the Lumar, and it looks as though the rookie Steve Hook is going to let Steve David have this position, but he's not going to let him have it by much. He's still running pretty strong up there. Lumar off the apex now, coming to the exit pin of the north turn down by the Lake Washington floating bridge. There you see the difference between those boats, and you see that Steve Hook there at the very top of your screen. They're still trying to catch the old boy Alberto. He's still keeping the pressure on. He's going to have enough real estate to get it done. The winner is the Lumar window film. Second place, the old boy Alberto. Third place, Steve Hooks from the Beacon Plumbing boat. Fourth place overall will go to Doug Brow. He has finished the heat in the Skyway Park. And so the folks from Friday Harbor have got to be pretty happy about that. They've made it to the checkered flag, and here comes Dr. Ken Muscatel bringing up the rear in this Heat 3A.
It looks to me like the Lumar has got the speed to beat any boat out here, but JW cannot spot the person 30, 40, 50 feet at the start line. If JW has any idea about winning the final heat this afternoon, he's going to have that Lumar inside. He's going to have it on the start line on time, and he's going to have a lot of momentum, like I'd say 150 miles an hour at the start line to be able to beat the Budweisers.
Well, one of the terrific owners of boat racing, Bill Worcester, is standing by in the pits right now. His boat, the Lumar, just won this heat.
That's right, Steve. There's a lot of cheering going on down here. It's been a long couple weeks for your crew, hasn't it?
It has been. We worked really hard, and they put it all together. Good day today.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. JW did a great job.
He does a great job. JW is he's out of this world. A young guy that's just getting started here in unlimited boat racing, but I think he's one of the top drivers already.
You've been here so many years. Do you ever lose your enthusiasm for this, Bill?
Never do. Never do. Always get excited. I just can't believe the thrill that I get. It's going to go on forever. I'll be around a long time.
It's a lot better when you win, too.
It's a lot better when you win. You get and this win is just the beginning. We got a long day here.
Thanks a lot, Bill. One of the great owners, Steve, Bill Wooster.
He is one of the very nice men, and it's nice now he's got himself a young buck driving that boat, and he could have that young man, J.W. Myers, driving for him for a while, don't you think, Chip?
He can, you know, and if you see a company like Lumar who sees a young driver like that, who they think they can build a marketing program around, who they can see obviously is a great race driver, they may be sweetening the sponsorship a little bit. So hopefully this is a team that's on the move forward. And we're looking for teams now to kind of fill the void that Anheuser-Busch is going to leave when they leave this sport at the end of the year.
Well, and they will certainly leave a chasm, a huge hole in the sport where Bernie Little and company tread for so many years. However, there's still racing to be done by the Budweiser team yet today. In fact, they'll come up in Heat 3B in just a couple of moments. But right now, it's time for this team, the Lumar window film boat, to celebrate their win in Heat 3A. And J.W. Myers, the youngster, the Unlimited Light Rookie of the Year back in '99, and the Unlimited Hydroplane Rookie of the Year just a year ago, climbing out to the cheers of his teammates along the shoreline.
You know, he's another product of the Seattle Outboard Association. This local racing association that runs small outboards has produced some really great drivers.
And he's in the pits right now. Go ahead.
All right, JW, great win there.
Thanks a lot, man. It's the U8 Lumar team, man. We're working on it. It's getting better and better, but the next heat, boy, I'd really like to win that.
You had a little trouble in Tri-Cities, and your crew had to fix this thing the last couple weeks. How has it progressed through the whole week to this last heat?
Well, the boys haven't got a lot of sleep, but we got it done, and you know, if another event like that takes place, we stand a lot better chance of surviving such an incident.
Can you win this whole thing?
Well, I hope like hell, that's for sure. You know, it's, the only thing, the big concern I have is that other Seattle Outboard guy down there, Jay Michael. He can hit some starts like nobody's business. I raced against him way too many times.
It's kind of fun having you and him here driving Unlimiteds now as opposed to your younger years. Not that you're old.
Yeah. Well, you know, we still race outboards together, and, you know, that's where we... You know, where we gained most of our experience was, or almost all of our experience was racing outboards. And, you know, it's just a lot bigger boat.
All right, JW, great win. Smiles all over down here, Steve, for the Lumar group.
Well, and that's exactly what you'd expect after a fine run like that. Our guard Swanson is with Steve Hook also in the pits. Guard.
Hey, Steve, you're not able to change lanes, but you may just have made yourself or qualified for the finals.
Yeah, I think that puts us in there. I'll have to check with the crew, but I'm pretty sure we're in. Yeah, it was bumpy out there. I had to stick on the final. I'm still qualifying. Had to stick on the outside. So I think we have enough points to get the final now without running into Connie. But
a short while ago, you told me that you guys changed prop. You put on the magic prop that you guys had some success in Tri-Cities, and it certainly worked out and panned out for you in this heat.
Yeah, I like the way that prop runs. It sticks the nose down a little bit more, and that's nice in this bumpy water. Our prop guy, Steve, he knows what he's doing back there. I just take what he tells me.
You're kind of cool. Boo-boo. What's up, boo-boo? Yeah, are you kind of quietly just kind of sneaking up on the guys? Because it shows a lot that you're stuck in lanes, but you can't make those lane changes, and you're still very competitive.
Well, I'm qualifying. You know, I know how to race. We all do, all these guys, unlimited light and unlimited. You know, I know I could run on the inside. I want to run on the inside, but got to earn the respect of the officials and the other drivers, and just being patient, and my time will come.
All right, go get them the rest of the afternoon.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Very smart young man. He knows how to get to where he's going, and where he wants to end up is on the winner's platform before this day is over. Here are your unofficial results from Heat 3A. Lumar in first place, the Oh Boy Alberto second, the Miss Beacon Plumbing third, Steve Hook at the controls, Skyway Park Bowl and Casino, followed by Silver Dollar Casino and Miss Rock. And we're going to rock on with more racing yet to come, Heat 3B, and more air show. We're not done. We've got lots of Seafair yet to come. Don't go away.
Heat 3A of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by the Washington Forest Protection Association.
Well, here's your replay of Heat 3A, the high points. And as you can see, it was basically the Lumar window film taking the inside position and then driving away from the rest of the field. The rookie, J.W. Myers, at the controls and being very confident in his drive, the winner of Heat 3A. Meantime, in second place in Heat 3A and needing those points was the Alberto team and the pilot, Steve David. He's in the pits right now with our Greg England.
Yeah, I'm here with Steve, and a little frustrated, I'm sure, because you got the start you wanted, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, the Alberto's been running great. It's just I've messed up a couple times as a driver, and we had a call go against us yesterday. It took us from first to fifth, but Alberto's running great. We're giving everything we got, and hopefully we can win this last chance and make it to the final.
Well, the consolation is knowing that your boat is running well. You got nailed a lap yesterday, and you've had a couple of problems today, but you feel good about the boat.
They made some great changes over the winter to it. Alberto has really enabled us to make it a much better race boat, and she's running great. Yesterday she had the fastest heat speed out there, so if we can make it to the final, we got a great shot. But we're running against some great boats, and you know, the best boat's going to win today. Whoever that is, we wish them well.
You came into the weekend, your team leading the World Championship in points totals. How important then is it, obviously, for you guys to get into that final?
Yeah, we got to regather ourselves because we want to be U1. Right now, the Red Boat's ahead of us a little bit again in points, but we'd really want to come through the season U1 and make Alberto #1 in the sport as well, because in our hearts they're #1. So I got my work cut out for me.
Absolutely. Well, you got one more chance to get in the final. Hopefully you can do it, because guys, they've got the boat to make it an interesting final with the Alberto.
Greg, thanks. They've got a pretty experienced driver there in Steve David as well. But let's talk about another driver, the winner of Heat 3A. Let's go to the presentation stage.
Hello and welcome back to the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair Award Stage. We have our winner for Heat 3A, and it's presented by the United States Coast Guard. And here is Admiral Garrett, who will present the award to our winning driver.
Well, it's an honor on behalf of the United States Coast Guard to present to J.W. Meyer and the Lumar window film team a trophy for winning Heat 3A. Good luck in the finals.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that. I'd just like to thank all our sponsors, my entire race team. That we've had some pretty hard luck the last few weeks. Lumar window film coming on board and helping us sponsor as a title sponsor, and Sickens Paint for all the paint work that, or at least the paint material that we used a lot of, unfortunately, in the last few weeks. And special thanks to West Coast Collision. We were in a bind trying to get the boat back together from Tri-Cities, and he came out, painted it, took care of it, and I mean, without his help, we had engine problems, you know, structure problems and everything else. So I really appreciate everybody's help along the way.
Great. Best of luck. And congratulations to you, young man, as we get set to go racing in Heat 3B. The boat to beat, obviously, the big red boat's coming up, the Budweiser. But that Graham Trucking boat with that rookie, J. Michael Kelly, they could be in the hunt. We'll see. And let's go racing in Heat 3B. Here are the stories that we're following. The Elam boat needs points. They were the top qualifier. Let's see how they do out here in Heat 3B. The Budweiser, though, the big red beer machine, is cruising yet again. We'll see if they can handle the choppy water again on Lake Washington. And finally, the Graham Trucking boat, a great win for the rookie J. Michael Kelly in Heat 2A. This is Heat 3B.
Heat 3B of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Amica Insurance. Call 1-800-24-AMICA and is presented for Seafair by Chevrolet and American Revolution.
Here are your competitors in 3B, the Elam Plus, the Budweiser, Seattle Boats Graham Trucking, and the Fairweather Sports presents the Toyota of Kirkland, the U100 boat. Again, a little bit of time, about 3 minutes. Boats finding their position. Here are your teams. We'll lead off with the Elam boat. Terry Troxel at the controls, has 60 points on the day, a couple of second-place finishes. Chip?
Yeah, but, you know, I think Terry tries to win every single heat he's in, sometimes I think to a detriment to his team. I hope he just settles down and tries to get a good, solid finish.
Guard, what's the sense you got from Terry before he climbed in the boat?
To him, and what he told me was that they're looking at second place right now. They figure in the points, if they finish second, they'll have enough to scoot on into the final. I talked to Sven Elstrom as well, the main man down here, and he knows they're faster than the Miss Budweiser, and they can take the Miss Bud, but they also have to know that they want that inside track, and that's what it's going to come down to in this heat.
All right, well, the Budweiser, the U1, certainly can plow through rough water and has done so today, Mike.
Certainly can, and I think that Dave Vilwalk knows he's in the catbird seat. He also knows that the Elam folks don't want to break anything before the final heat. So he's going to try to find a clean place to start. He's going to try to run away with it.
Bill, what's the word down in the Bud camp?
I've been waiting for this heat because earlier today, Terry Troxel, Dave Villwalk, and Tom Deeth all went into the Budweiser bus, and they were talking about something. I know it stemmed from the Detroit situation and what happened in the first heat here in Seattle. So I think maybe Chip can maybe elaborate on why those guys might be in there talking, because they were definitely trying to cool things down a little bit, I think.
Well, let's talk about that in just a moment, but let's get the rest of the boats online. The Seattle boats, Graham Trucking, and there's your rookie, J. Michael Kelly, a first-place finish in the last heat.
I hope J. Michael just tries to work on the start line. Not worry about getting a lane right now, just getting to the start line on time, getting a good solid finish, because I think there's going to be a lot to watch from him in the final.
Greg England, his team is going to be watching closely down there in the pits.
Absolutely. They're very confident in him. And when Mike got off his boat, he was just plain giddy. But now they're telling him, hey, just forget about that last win and get some points here to get us into the final.
Yeah, it's not what you did for me last race. It's what are you going to do next? Here's the U100. The Fairweather Sports presents the Toyota of Kirkland. Mike?
And I think that, unfortunately, Greg Hopp has had kind of a confusing race. After he had finished in the last heat, he went around one more time racing, not knowing he didn't have to, and pinned a buoy in the process. He's had kind of a confusing afternoon, but he's going to try to make up for it now.
Pat O'Day, the beer wagon versus a rookie, J. Michael Kelly. I like that kind of matchup.
Well, I think Terry and Villwalk are trying to figure each other out with the final heat in mind as to who gets that #1 lane position. This is a peculiar setup for the start so far.
Miss Budweiser is lagging back right now, waiting to see where the other guys go. It looks like it's going to be Greg Hopp in lane #1. It looks like it'll be the Elam in 2, the Budweiser in lane #3. On the outside, it will be the Seattle boat presents Graham Trucking. And as they come to the line, looks like we're going to have a legal start. That was real close, real close.
I think Terry might have really nailed the start there. Great job. J. Michael was definitely late, and you know, Budweiser really just needs to finish here.
Either he nailed the start or he was a tick too soon. We'll see. Greg Hopp, meanwhile, on the inside has decided he wants to race with Terry Troxel. The Budweiser just letting him go, laying back, keeping the pressure on, but he isn't going to race him hard down this back chute. He knows Troxel is in a must-win situation as far as his psychic is concerned, and Budweiser doesn't have to really work this one this hard. But meanwhile, the Graham Trucking boat is in 4th position and staying up there with the rest of them. But as they come out of the corner, at this point, it is the Fairweather Sports presents Toyota of Kirkland, with Greg Hopp being passed, or behind rather, the Elam Plus, as it's Elam and Hopp, and then the Miss Budweiser in that order. This could turn into a speedy parade now, though. I don't think anybody wants to pressure anybody at this point.
No, and I think one thing J. Michael is learning by being back there in the slop is you don't want to be late, because this is the kind of water you get to run in. When you have to run in the wakes of everybody else, that teaches you real quick to not be late at the start.
The Elam delivering something of a message that they have a whole lot of boat speed. I think that's one of the things they had to try to tell the big red boat. We now know from the officials that the start was exactly wired by the Elam driver, Terry Troxel. He did not jump the gun, and he is well out front, and it was a beautiful start for him.
You know the feeling when you have a start like that and it's not the final? You're happy you got a start like that, but you're like, darn, I hope I didn't waste it, you know, because sometimes you only got 1 or 2 of those kind of in you, and you want to have it for the final.
He may be thinking like that, but he's going to have another one like that in the final. He's going to have the inside lane, too, I think, when we get to the final heat, if it's going to work out for the big orange boat. Meanwhile, Elam Plus out front, and Pat O'Day, it's a high-speed parade here.
It is. They don't have the Elam pinned down on the water like they did earlier. He's riding real light in the front, and I guess that's the way he's going to go into the final. He's really got it flying.
Yeah, it looks like the Budweiser's ride. I think you're right, Pat. I think they've really done a lot. It's very light on its feet. You see it dancing but not flying away. It's just nice and light. And when you see a boat light on its feet, that means it's using the horsepower to move the boat forward, not plow it through the water. So they're looking good.
Speaking of the Budweiser, Dave Villwalk has pulled up almost alongside of Greg Hopp now. I think he's just thinking about seeing if he can push it just a little bit. It looks like it's a pretty reasonable proposition, because Greg's got big problems
I think
now.
Greg's going down.
And he has lost it, so Budweiser slipped into 2nd place now. Kind of a bonus situation for Dave Villwalk, because he really didn't need those points, but he'll take them, of course.
You know, I think what we're seeing now, I would say the two best performing boats in the pits are the Elam and the Budweiser. I think right now the Lumar is close, but doesn't quite have the boat ride that these two boats have.
I like the boat ride also of the Graham Trucking. They seem to have settled that boat as well. So we are on the third or four times around. The white flag is coming up for the Elam plus Terry Troxel coming off the north
checkered
turn.
flag. Checkered flag.
We're at the checker. I strike that. We are at the checker. Here it comes. Here comes the Elam plus and victory for Terry Troxel, his first this afternoon. Some distance back, but by design more than anything else, the Miss Budweiser with Dave Vilwach will take the checkered flag and second place points.
Well, it looks to me like the race we're going to see in the final from what we've seen so far is I think the top three are the Lumar, the Budweiser first, probably the Terry Troxel and the Elam, and then the Lumar a little bit further back. But I think, like you said, Mike, I think J. Michael Kelly is the wild card here.
I think he is, too. The boat ride's a lot better on this Graham Trucking boat, and I think they're going to give him the go-ahead. And the other question, too, is will they make the rookies run outside for the final? And we just asked referee Rick Sandstrom that question. Earlier today, he told me I'll take a look at them. If I'm happy with the way they're running, I'll let them fight for lanes for the final. We're still waiting to hear if he'll let them do that.
You know, Chip, I hear what you're saying, but if you're watching, Steve Hook is getting a great ride in the Beacon Plumbing, and I think he may have something to show us in the final.
Well, I think you're right, and I totally forgot about him because what he's shown, he's always shown from the outside all day. So if you can show that good on the outside, you let a guy as aggressive as he is loose to go on the inside, I think you're dead right.
Yeah, he seems anxious to want to get there. I think he'll be lobbying heavily on Sandstrom to let him fight for lanes.
You know, and Sandstrom should let him fight for it. If there's anybody that needs to be put on the outside, it's some of the veterans. I think the rookies have shown very well, and if you can't let these guys go, I don't know what group you could let go.
You know, Chip, what I love about Steve Hook is he's so totally relaxed. You notice that?
Well, I'm so concerned about that. I'm afraid he's going to sleep through the final. I hope they have somebody to make sure that he's awake.
I can tell you who won't sleep through the final, even though he laid back and came in second in this particular heat. Dave Vilwach and the Budweiser, they're just saving themselves. Bill Rocky's with them. Bill?
Dave's just getting out of the boat here. Dave, a little different situation that time. You just kind of hung back and let it happen.
Yeah, didn't matter much. Just sort of hung out, keep the boat in one piece, and get ready for the final.
On the other side, Terry had a pretty good run there.
Yeah, he did good.
So how different?
He's about 9 miles an hour faster. He ought to run pretty good.
So are you set up for the final now? Or you got any secrets in the back there?
We got what we got. Like I say, either way, we're going to have a good time here.
I've heard you say that this week a couple times. All right, Dave Vilwach takes second. Steve just kind of sits back and lets it happen, takes it easy so nothing bad happens.
All right, we haven't talked too much about it, Chip, but he is fuel restricted because of the power of that boat, right? And so that's what he's talking about. It is what it is.
Yeah, but you got to remember the Budweiser's technology is so far advanced that 3.8, and when we're talking about fuel, we're not talking about the amount of fuel that the boat has in its fuel tank. We're talking about the amount of fuel that's allowed to go through a regulator to the engine. The Budweiser's down to, I think, 3.8. The other boats are up to, some of them up to 4.1. But I believe the Budweiser is so efficient with their technology that their 3.8 is probably as efficient as everybody else's 4.1.
And, Mike, the bottom line on all this is just to make for more competitive racing.
The idea is parity, and that's important. Folks want to see boats racing sponson to sponson instead of long-distance parades at high speed. But I'll tell you what, when he says we brought what we brought, remember, they usually bring sterling silver to everybody else's nickel plate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not buying for a minute that Vilwach speech there.
Yeah.
You know, we brought what we brought.
Yeah.
So this race means everything to him and to that team, and he's just kind of poor-mouthing right now.
Yeah.
But you wait for the final.
I don't think he's going to get much sympathy.
You wait for the
either.
final. He's planning on smoking this fleet.
Well, let's see what Terry Troxel has to say about it. He's in the Elam pit with our guard Swanson.
Well, Terry, I got to tell you right off the bat, biggest crowd ovation so far when you just landed on the dock moments ago. Huge clapping for you.
I brought everybody from Gig Harbors here, you know.
How about your run?
We like it. You know, I think Dave's probably sandbagging.
Well, you know,
maybe Chip will tell us. He'll watch the video, get back to me, right?
Dave Vilwach was just asked about your run. He said, nah, it's okay, not great. Yeah. What do you think about that?
We'll see how great it is in the final.
You think he's sandbagging?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we beat him pretty easy, and I wasn't trying real hard, so. we'll have to wait and see.
What do you think about
more for him, though?
What do you think about that fuel restriction on the Miss Bud? Doesn't even look like there's one.
I don't know. Thing really rolls, doesn't it?
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, everybody's kind of downplaying all this stuff. I think they're just saving all their bullets for the final. But let's find out. I like the rookies. Let's find out what the rookie J. Michael Kelly's doing with Greg Ingham.
All right, well, I'm with J. Michael. His boat's right over our heads, so we're just double-checking everything right there. Hey, you got the third place finish. You're getting some points ahead towards that final. Was that you happy with that race?
I'm happy with it. It was conservative. I would have liked to have been out front, but I'm still learning, so I'm happy with it.
Is that the approach? Were you conservative there on that start? Because you were a little further behind.
I was conservative. I was able to, get the victory the last time out, and I had to, be conservative, to try to make it in the finals. So.
Looks like you're headed that way. You got a third place finish in the Tri-Cities 2 weeks ago, and now it looks like you're headed towards the final again. Another top 3 finish in there. He's saying something about this rookie.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll see.
We're not making any promises, but we like his chances, guys.
Well, any 98 grad of Kent Meridian High School can't be all bad. That's all I can say. Let's take a look at the unofficial results from Heat 3B. And that puts Terry Troxel in the orange-colored boat, the U16 Elam up front. Miss Budweiser, we'll see if Dave is actually, in Terry's words, sandbagging it, or if he's just holding back for the final. There's the Graham Trucking, Seattle Boats, Graham Trucking, and then the Toyota of Kirkland, the Fairweather Sports presents. It did not finish. So that's Heat 3B.
Heat 3B of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by Amica Insurance. Call 1-800-24-AMICA.
And here's your race recap, the instant replay, if you will, with Terry Troxel in the U16 Elam boat. Pretty much start to finish, pulling away at the end. The Budweiser kind of laying back here in Heat 3B. Elam gets the win. Everybody's happy on that team and that finger pier. And while we await the presentation of the trophy to Terry Troxel, again, we show you the boats are out in force. The log boom is full, the sidelines, the grandstands, all full, watching as we get closer and closer to our final heats in both the Unlimited Lights and, of course, the Unlimited Hydroplanes. And the air show, the KeyBank Air Show at Seafair, continues overhead as well. Still so much to go, including the awards ceremony. We almost forgot for Heat 3B. Let's go down to the awards stage.
Again, we welcome you back here to the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair award stage, ready to present our award for Heat 3B, sponsored by our friends at Chevrolet, and representing Chevrolet, Mr. Greg Sedowitz.
I am Greg Sedowitz with Chevrolet, and on behalf of Chevrolet and the Northwest Chevy dealers, I am proud to present this trophy to Terry Troxel and the Miss Elam Plus team for winning Unlimited Heat 3B.
Yeah, and we want to thank the Elstrom family. I tell you, what a group. We worked really hard for that win, and we finally got one, and I didn't even jump the gun. Can you imagine that? We'd like to thank Chevrolet, Seafair for everything they've done. Of course, Channel 7. I mean, without you guys, you guys are great.
I think no comment from me. I think the driver did the talking, and he do the driving, so I do the walking. Thank you very much, Chevrolet.
Thank you.
Sven?
All right, Sven, thank you. And Terry Troxel, first person today that's thanked Channel 7.
I thank you.
Well, you did earlier, and we appreciate that. Here are the point totals. Any big surprises here as you check this out, Chip? Miss Budweiser on top.
No, but, it's tight. I don't think Budweiser, this is a shoe-in by any stretch. I think we got 3 boats that can run with him here.
But if there is a race that the Budweiser team in its swan song season wants to win, it is here in the hometown of Dave Villwock, the pilot. But that remains to be seen. There's still racing yet to go. We've got a great final coming up in the Unlimited Lights. Also, time to work on the big boats, get them ready for their final as well, while the folks enjoy the water and the sun and all that Seattle has to offer on Seafair Sunday. We'll be back.
You're watching live coverage of the 2004 KeyBank Air Show at Seafair, brought to you by KeyBank, your neighborhood bank, and much more for over 50 years. KeyBank.